before I got my electric tattoo stuff, and I had no tattoos, I hand poked a bunch of stuff on me, and the first guy I hand poked was a guy named Count Kilback, and he's my first guy, and I can remember that on Homemade, and so I done a bunch of that off and on, even when we were getting electric stuff, till 66, and I didn't want to do it like that no more, and even that was sporadic and just buddies, doing an initial or something. So that was with a toothbrush and a melted bunch of fine needles with thread wrap that would soak up ink, and you could go like that and jab it in, So we did that, and then in 1967 or 68, I can't remember exactly, this street guy named George Harrison with the slicked hair, and everybody's getting longer. George was still the slick 50s guy with a rat tail comb and the tight jeans, but he was a rounder. Wasn't a bike guy, wasn't a hippie, he was a rounder, what they used to call. And he knew about stuff like that, and he had quite a bit of work stuff on his hands and everything, maybe 5 years older than me. Male?
Sound like the back door.
Oh, it's Dave. What were we saying?
Talking about some rounder.
Oh yeah, so he says to me, through guys I know, that about tattoo equipment for sale. So I'm interested, because man, it is hard to get. Nobody gives you nothing. Doc, Curly, I don't care who you were, you ain't getting nothing. They protected their style, you know what I mean? So I meets this guy, and I knew who he was, and so he opens this toolbox up. A machine, color, plastics, charcoal, needles, few things, right? Enough. So I goes, how much? And he says, 40 or 50 bucks. I can't remember. Whoa, dude, 40 or 50 bucks. That was a week's pay. Almost, maybe not quite, but it was money. But I didn't care. I would have paid double, because I've tried for 3 years to get machines. Couldn't find it. So I guess this tattoo stuff, and what does it say on the machine? Sailor Joe Poncho, and it's brass. It's in Lyle Tuttle's museum now, and I should have kept it, but that was my first one. And it started from there. So the first night we got it, do you want me to tell you what happened there? Can we? Yeah, we were drinking. We were 18 or 19 years old, and I want to try this thing. So we're all in a garage where we worked on our choppers and stuff, and we grabbed this Randy Hustis guy, and down the chair he went, and I took a stencil, being Harley guys. There was one with a bulldog's face with a Harley hat. He didn't even have one. He's getting it. Put down on there. But we start. I starts tattooing. God, no rags, nothing. How can I wipe? So we find some stuff. So we start, and I tattoo this guy. Well, it's too much joking and that. So, and when I finished it, one of his guys is working on the bike, and he kept glancing over. I finish it. We all look at it, and we burst out laughing because we're kids. It looks like a knuckle sandwich. Jowls and the dog and everything. It was so bad. So anyways, he's not bummed out because he's just relieved it's over, because he's got a stick he's been biting on, because it's hooking and doing things. I'm pulling it out. So next, that guy says, Redmond his name, he goes, I want one with a wheel and wings. So I does a wheel and wings. Well, let's put it this way. They didn't work out. But it was the start. So then the other guys, and off and on I play around with it, right? So then after a while, because it didn't have enough and not enough interest in guys wanting to get this guy that's only picking it up, because it's hard to get guys to let you go, right? And so there was nothing about it. So it sat there, and then around 70, Dave Shore came to my house. Now I met Dave, really met him in the late 60s. He was in the club. And we had total respect for Dave and Vic and all those guys, and to come to my house to borrow this machine, Zuck. They called me Zuck, nickname, right? Zucky. And so they all never knew them as my last name at first. So I lent that to him, And Dave says, I'll help you out. You help me, man. And I thought, wow, you know what I mean? That was nice. So he being older, was the business guy. Is this where we're going? So he's the business guy. And him and his first partner, Doug Hawthorne. Doug Hawthorne got the license for tattooing because his mother knew Milt, I forget his last name, that was head of the licensing department, and he was retiring in 3 months, and he squeezed Doug in there. The city was upset because they're getting ready to halt this whole business as soon as that old duffer named Curly went down. But he was a vet. He's not going down, right? So Dave borrows that stuff. He's a little older. He goes to California with Doug. Doug's the entrepreneur. He knows how to do that stuff. And the shop opens up, and Dave starts tattooing, and I start tattooing more at home. Now I'm really interested, right? You know what I mean? I got a friend in there. So Dave's helped me. I'm working there helping. He shows me making needles for him and stuff and watercoloring. And now I start my whole thing. But I ain't got much. Stuff's still hard to get. Zeiss was around a bit, maybe still. I'm not sure. Yeah, it was, because I got my first colors from him that flared up. The yellow flared up about this high, and the mercury red was about this high. And so we were given a little 3D to the whole thing there. And so working there and learning, I heard through the wind in around 72, Captain Ted had already shut down, but where his stuff went, and it was tattoo equipment, I didn't know nothing. I bought Captain Ted's whole shop from him. $600. I bought everything. I had his memoirs, or what they call those books people use? Diary there, of trips to his thing, and I'm never going to see Dad and my brother again, because they weren't happy with him, whatever reason. You know, I can't go into that because I can't remember it all. But I bought them out, and I found out everything was wore out, you know, or whatever. But there was one guy that was interested in this old stuff. I had blind flash and everything, probably being from Boston, it could have been anybody's, you know. It could have been that guy, Percy Waters, God. But anyways, our hero. But anyways, so Dave opens up. I get this stuff. I'm going to go for it. Well, no, I'm not. I got a hold of title through Pat Martinick, and Pat did an eagle on my leg here, and he sold me a really nice transformer. I got it to this day with the old tubes. Really works slick. Dave says that's one of the best ever, right? It was. We used to use old ones out of airplanes. The radios out of airplanes. Have you ever heard of that? Zeke used, and we used to use them, and they'd be all open tube and just be underneath the thing and work slick, but no parts. Okay? So, but anyways, where was I saying there?
Oh, you got all that stuff you bought.
Oh yeah. So he tells me. So I phones Tuttle. Tuttle flies up here, and I gave him. He came and hung out and gave me some advice and bought all the stuff, and we traded for some new stuff, and he was helping me out. Pat did. Pat was really nice to me. He came by my shop and showed me some stuff too. Right, very nice man. And Tuttle got all that stuff and put in a museum. The thing that opened up the midgets at the carnival made and everything, you know. So that was pretty neat. So now I battled it out with the city. I got a location. They won't let me open. I'm there at night. But anyways, I have to wait. So finally, after 6 months of battle, I goes in front of all the city council, me and Dave. Here's us, motorcycle hoodlums. Nice. But we're in front of all these people that aren't from our world, and we have to tell them what we're up to. You know what I mean? So it was pretty tough for us guys, right? Being from East Vancouver, for me, I was nervous. You know, it was all relying on me, because if I didn't get in, they could come after, and once Curly's gone, come after those bike guys. That was their intent, I think. You know, and that's how they put it too, right? You know what I mean? So Mayor Phillips was in at that time, and he wanted us to take our shirts off and show his tattoos, and I went and seen that other famous He's from Vancouver. But anyway, Harry Rankin. I went and seen Harry Rankin, and he goes, "What? They don't want you tattooing in Vancouver." He goes, "I got tattoos." He goes, he says, "You come there, I'll be on this committee." And I didn't know what he was talking about. All of a sudden we look, it's all the aldermen from, they sit at a table, and it's us. But we got it, because all the information this Dr. Bonham, who hated us, was 30s. Guys spitting in their ink and mixing it, and that even Rankin's going, "What year is all this stuff from?" You know what I mean? Like, come on, look at these guys. You know what I mean? They're here to do an art thing, man. You know, and so he saved the day. Rankin.
When was that?
74, when I got the final legit.
Um, 74. Well, why don't we talk about opening that first shop and what that was like to be, what the atmosphere.
Shop. I rented in late 73, and it didn't take us long to set up because tattoo shops are simple, but like I told you, there was a drag out there, man. And it was really annoying to be on the verge of not being allowed there. You know what I mean? So I was fighting for that license. So the first shop I opened, I'm going to hate to tell you what the rent was, but God, that was an expensive shop, $150 a month. It was at 104 Powell Street, just past the Drake, right past the corner there, going towards west. And I knew nothing. I came out of cars, hot rods, bikes, and working in a body shop and stuff. And the only A in school was grade 1 art. And now I'm working on people I don't know. So I learned fast. The first year that I opened, I found out about so many things working on that street that I just heard of that were new, like transvestites and stuff like this, that I never had to deal with. But you got to deal with it, you know what I mean? And of course, street people and stuff like you're in the back soldering needles and you hear somebody clanging around the front, you know, and the door's been opened. So you finally decide to take a look. You're just finishing soldering that needle, and you get out there. They've already got their coat off over the railing. We used to have steel railing, and water dripping off them. And she's taking her wool sock off, this hippie broad. And I says, "Hey, what's going on here?" She goes, "Well, I'm wet." I says, are you going to get a tattoo today?" She goes, "No, I'm just want to dry off." I says, "Put those clothes back on and get out of here." That's how it was. You know, I didn't know about stuff like that. So I knew right then, hey, you got to control this. This is not good, eh? They will take you over, right? So I had to learn all that. And the whole time, of course, with that, trying to be the new guy, you're painting. Dave says, paint flash, just put the card down. He says, they'll see that card. Before you finish that card, I guarantee you'll do 1 to 2 tattoos. And I goes, really? So I does that. Huh, it works. Hey, what's that card? So I learned that. Don't stand in your window. Don't stand out front. He says, it looks like you're doing nothing. Always be doing something. He said what do you call it? Brings up work, right? So Dave's was really good advice, and Dave did my window. He helped me a lot. Friendly competition, friends, right? Even though we hung out some, we hung out more afterwards. That friendly competition, that was my first, and of course Lady Luck was a second one. It works in a town if you know these people, you know, and that's what I'm trying to tell young guys. You got to have some friendly competition, right?